"Sir, please, don't let him take me." The royal guard, trained never to move or speak, blinked once, his only sign of life. But when the little girl's trembling fingers formed a secret hand signal for help, everything he'd ever sworn to protect suddenly felt personal. It was a crisp morning outside Buckingham Palace. Tourists lined the iron gates, snapping photos of the immovable guards in their red coats and tall bearskin hats. Among the crowd stood a man in a fine navy suit, his hand resting heavily on the shoulder of a small girl, no more than 8. She looked out of place. Her hair was tangled, her shoes scuffed, and her eyes, though wide and innocent, carried a silent panic. The man whispered something sharply, gripping her arm tighter. To the crowd, they looked like father and daughter. But to one man, the guard posted nearest the gate, something didn't feel right. He had stood watch for 6 years without breaking protocol. No laughter, no small talk, no human reactions. But today, something about that little girl's fear broke through the uniform. The girl hesitated near the guard. The man behind her forced a smile, raising his phone as if to take a picture. "Go on, sweetheart," he said smoothly. "Stand by the guard. It'll be fun." She stepped closer. Her lower lip trembled, and then she did something strange. With her small hand held low by her waist, she curled her fingers in a pattern 3 taps, then a flat palm, then 2 fingers pointing down. It was subtle, but the guard noticed instantly. His heart skipped a beat. He recognized the movement. It was the universal distress signal for help, recently taught to all British officers after a string of missing child cases. The guard's training screamed, "Do not react." But his humanity screamed louder, "Do something." He shifted his eyes slightly, breaking formation, a forbidden move. The girl's breath hitched as the man beside her tightened his grip again. The guard made a silent decision. The man in the suit, charming, confident, with the calm arrogance of someone used to control. The guard silent, disciplined, humble, bound by rules older than his own service. 2 opposites, one believing power came from control, the other learning that true power came from courage. The London air grew heavy with tension. Tourists continued to laugh and snap selfies, unaware of the silent storm brewing beside them. The guard's hand twitched against his rifle. He knew that breaking formation could cost him his post, his rank, even his honor. But if he did nothing, that little girl's silent plea would vanish into the crowd forever. Then the man's phone buzzed. He frowned, distracted. That was the guard's chance. With military precision, he took 1 step forward, violating centuries of Royal Guard protocol. His voice, cold and commanding, cut through the chatter. "Sir, I need you to step back." The man froze. "Excuse me, now," the guard barked, louder this time, drawing the attention of nearby security. The girl stepped closer to the guard, her eyes pleading. The man's charm melted into irritation. "She's my daughter," he said quickly. "We're tourists." But the guard's training kicked in. He noticed the girl subtly shaking her head behind the man's back. Within seconds, 2 palace police officers approached. The guard didn't move again. He stood straight, eyes forward, as though nothing had happened. But every decision after that was set in motion by his one act of courage. The officers pulled the man aside for questioning. The girl was gently led behind the gate by a female officer. Minutes passed. The crowd murmured, sensing something serious had unfolded. Finally, one of the officers returned and spoke quietly to the guard. "She's safe." Turns out she'd been reported missing 2 days ago. That signal she gave, it saved her. The guard didn't respond. He couldn't. His duty required silence. But behind his stoic expression, his chest tightened with relief. He looked ahead at the horizon, as if nothing had happened. But for the first time in years, he felt proud not just to serve, but to feel. That evening, when the palace gates closed and the crowds disappeared, the guard was finally relieved from duty. He walked home through the dim London streets, replaying the moment in his mind. The fear in her eyes, the courage in her signal. He had broken the rules, but he had also saved a life. The next morning, as he returned to his post, he found a small folded note tucked near the base of his sentry box. No one else would have noticed it. He bent down slightly and picked it up. Inside was a drawing. A little stick figure guard in a tall hat, holding the hand of a small girl. Below it, written in uneven handwriting, were the words, "Thank you for seeing me." He smiled softly, tucking the note inside his uniform pocket. This time, when he stood at attention, his posture was stronger, not from duty but from purpose. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is listen to what others are too afraid to say. If the story touched your heart, remember, heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear silence and stand perfectly still. If the story moved you, subscribe and comment your country below. And remember, even the smallest signal can save a life.